Joined now on the program by former NXT champion and one of the most popular superstars in the wrestling business today. It's Sami Zayn, who will be in Bangor and Augusta this weekend for live events on Saturday and Sunday, respectively. Sami, welcome to the show.
No, thanks a lot for having me.
Well, first and foremost, you've had such a whirlwind of success from debuting on NXT, winning that title there, making the main roster, now battling Kevin Owens, which seems like it's going to last forever. How has this experience been like for you over the last couple of years?
Well, certainly since signing that WWE contract, which was obviously a dream come true, is not only from my entire wrestling career, but obviously from childhood, it was something I always dreamt of. So obviously, anytime I was able to finally sign that WWE contract was a huge deal, and I really couldn't have predicted the trajectory my career would kind of take since the day I signed that contract, and just the way it's all kind of panned out. And, I'm not going to sit here and reminisce over the last 3.5 years, and every little detail, but certainly I've been very lucky to find some success in NXT and these past few months here on Raw and SmackDown and WrestleMania and all these pay-per-views. So really it has been an absolute whirlwind. That's a perfect word to use for it because, it's simultaneously 3.5 years simultaneously feels like a lifetime ago, but it also feels like just the other day. It's just so much happens in such a short amount of time that it's hard to kind of keep track of it all, but really it's been amazing. It's been a dream come true.
And in the last year, you made your monumental debut about a year ago on Monday Night Raw against John Cena, a huge pop from the crowd, highly anticipated, and you hurt your shoulder in what was a terrific match on Raw. Then you had to kind of battle back, and all of a sudden you found yourself this year 100,000 people at Texas Stadium. What a roller coaster this past year has been since you've been added to the main roster.
Yeah, that again, that's all part of the whirlwind. That was certainly a big night for me. I mean, it was my hometown of Montreal, and on live television on Monday Night Raw against John Cena, who's the biggest star in the industry in the last 10 years, for over the last 10 years, really. And to kind of blow your shoulder out on live television in the first minute of a match that went 20 minutes long is not a pleasant feeling, but, we got through it. And then it was just another hurdle I kind of had to overcome because I inevitably needed shoulder surgery from there on out, and it put me on the shelf for about 7 months. I am very grateful, though, that I was able to come back in time to actually be at WrestleMania in Dallas, Texas, at AT&T Stadium, because it was actually the biggest wrestling show of all time. It was 101,000 people, and I was very, very grateful to get the opportunity to be on that show, considering I had really just debuted, come around to really stick around on the main roster this time around, just about a month before WrestleMania. So I was really lucky to get on that card, and they say you never forget your first. Well, I'll never forget my first WrestleMania. It was just a surreal experience and something I'm really going to treasure. Hopefully the first of many, many more to come.
We're talking with Sami Zayn here on the program, who will be in Bangor on Saturday this weekend, in Augusta on Sunday for live events as the WWE invades the state of Maine. And Sami, you've been all over the world wrestling, but have you ever been in the state of Maine before in the squared circle?
No, I was just telling someone this, actually. Maine is one of the few states I haven't wrestled in, and which is funny because I'm from Montreal, which is just a few hours away, really. But you would think I would have hit Maine by now, but no. So these shows, Bangor and Augusta, are actually the first time I'll ever be in Maine. Actually, that's not true. I went camping once in Maine about 10 years ago, but besides that, I've never actually performed there. So I'm actually really looking forward to that.
Sami, do you remember what area of Maine you were in when you went camping?
I honestly have no idea. I didn't do much of the planning, so I was just kind of a passenger. And then the next thing I know, we're driving through some, beautiful scenery. It was the first time I ever saw a moose on the side of the road. You would think, being from Canada, I would have seen one before, but nope.
Wow.
So there was that little memory, and then the next thing I know, we're in the woods and just along the coastline and eating lobster, and it was great, But I should probably actually do a little research before I do these shows here and figure out where it was that I went camping, because it was really a great experience. And I remember thinking, Maine's pretty nice, and I really wish I got to spend more time in Maine, but I never have. So hopefully I get a little time to actually sightsee and look around town, in Bangor and in Augusta.
Now, Sami, we love you for what you do in the ring, but I also love you because you have such great taste in music. And I remember listening to your conversation with Chris Jericho about a chance encounter with one Axl Rose back in the day. Do you have a short version of that and your experience sort of getting yelled at by that rock legend?
Yeah. It's a hard story to tell in short form, but the shortest I could possibly make it is that I went to see a concert with Guns N' Roses several years back in Chicago, and we had an in to, someone that I knew someone that knew the guitarist at the time of Guns N' Roses, a guy named Bumblefoot, who no longer plays with the band. Obviously, Slash is reunited with Axl now, and it's huge news in the rock world. But so somehow I end up backstage at this Guns N' Roses concert, and Axl is very reclusive and elusive, and so he's not even there. So the big goal was to kind of try to meet Axl. So we ended up watching this concert, and then after the show, through some luck and a little, string pulling, we were actually able to go backstage and meet Axl Rose in his dressing room. So that was a bit of a surreal moment. And then, I pushed my luck, which I have that tendency. I realized this is a now or never kind of thing. And the big, elusive picture with Axl Rose, which just seems impossible because he's such a temperamental rock star, like anything you say could set him off in the wrong way at any given moment. But so I saw my chance and I went for it. I asked for a picture and he kind of yelled at me, and I was really, really embarrassed. But it was a really, really memorable night because I'm still telling the story all these years later. There's a much longer version, a much more detailed version if you listen to it on the Talk is Jericho podcast. But unfortunately, due to time constraints, I can't get into all the hilarious details of that evening. But the long and short of it is, yes, I did meet Axl Rose, and yes, he did yell at me, and yes, I was extremely embarrassed.
We're joined by WWE superstar Sami Zayn. Sami, you have a kind of a legendary record on the independent scene, and which has been followed by your run so far in WWE through NXT. Kind of compare and contrast those two different roads, going the NXT route and your stature before going the indie route and traveling the world.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, even NXT is its own self-contained sort of experience versus my experience here on the quote-unquote main roster, on Raw and SmackDown, and touring full-time with the WWE now versus my experience in NXT, which, again, was very different from my experience on the independent circuit and the international sort of circuit as I was making my name. Basically, I wrestled independently for about 11 years before WWE took notice and signed me. And, that was work and it was hard, but to be honest, I never viewed it that way. I never viewed it as hard work or whatever, because I just really genuinely enjoyed every minute of it. And I was just doing what I'd always dreamed of doing, which was traveling the globe and wrestling and just having, a great time and getting all these experiences and getting better as a performer as well along the way. So all that kind of went into signing with NXT. And, of course, it's just a completely different world in so many ways that I don't think I have time to fully explain how different it is from being an independent, athlete / performance artist to going to, work in the same industry, but now for the largest company on earth in that industry. It's certainly, there was a lot of adjustments that had to be made on my part. A lot of them, for the better, to be honest with you. But, it's just, it's so hard to compare and contrast because there's just so many differences. But I absolutely think that my 11 years of preparation on the independent circuit were what got me ready for NXT and what inevitably led to my success in NXT and now, currently on the main roster. So, that 11 years of work getting to WWE, it wasn't for nothing. It definitely made me the person and the performer that I am today. So I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, Sami, just a couple quick questions before we let you go here. First, thoughts coming up on the WWE Draft coming up in around a week's time.
Absolutely. Look, personally, I think it's extremely exciting. It's different, and I think that's really what the business, the industry always needs. It always needs to be fresh. It always needs to be different. You can't have people knowing what to expect. And to be honest, I really don't know what to expect. Nobody does. Nobody in this company does. We're all talking about it. We all have no idea what's going to happen. And it's crazy because it's happening next week. Really, the draft is what's the date? Tuesday, July 19th is the first live SmackDown, and the draft goes live. And we genuinely have no idea where we're headed. I mean, I don't know if I'll be on Raw. I don't know if I'll be on SmackDown. I don't know who will be with me, who won't. So it's very exciting because I think unpredictability is a crucial aspect of professional wrestling and this industry. And if this draft helps, or this brand extension helps give that unpredictability a little shot in the arm and make it just a little more unpredictable and provides more opportunities for more guys, I think it's an absolutely great thing, and I don't think there's ever been a better time for it than now.
Okay, favorite person you've wrestled, and who is left that you haven't stepped into the ring with that you would like to?
Oof, that's a tough one. I don't know if I have a single favorite. I have maybe a few favorite people that I have like the best chemistry with. And one, I guess not surprisingly, would be Kevin Owens, just because I've wrestled him 1,000 times. So, and even since 2003, when we first started in Montreal wrestling together, people were interested in seeing it then. And now it's remarkable to me that 13, 14 years later, people are still interested in seeing it now on a global level with the WWE. So that's mind-blowing. I can't explain it. I don't fully understand it, but I'll take it,
So will we.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see when that runs its course, but it doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Cesaro's another guy that I've had incredible in-ring chemistry with. Neville is another guy that I absolutely love being in the ring with. There's a few other guys who, aren't with the WWE right now, but guys from the independents that I really enjoy being in the ring with. As far as people that I have yet to wrestle and would like to wrestle, especially that are realistic options here in the WWE, just off the top of my head, I guess I would say Randy Orton. This is one guy I've never wrestled and I'd love to wrestle. He's really, really, really just smooth and really graceful and really, really talented in the ring. And he's just obviously a megastar. And it would be great to get in the ring with him. I would have said John Cena, but I got that chance about a year and a half ago. I'd love to get in the ring a little more and mix it up with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Actually, Roman Reigns, another guy I've never wrestled, I'd love to be in the ring with. So there's still a few fresh matchups that have never happened, and I'm looking forward to eventually, banging those all out.
Well, Sami, thank you very much for your time. We're looking forward to your appearances in Bangor and Augusta this Saturday and Sunday. And if you see your good friend El Generico, make sure to say hi for us.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been in contact with him for a very long time, but I'll try to pass the message along. But absolutely, thanks for your time, and I hope to see you guys all come out in Bangor and Augusta. They're going to be great shows, so hopefully we see everybody out there.